When I was younger, I was struggling a lot to know who I was, to fit in. I had really bad anxiety and social anxiety. What reading has helped me do was feel my feelings. It helped me learn how to talk to people, how to cope with my emotions, how to heal trauma. Reading has been two things for me. So there's a side where it's been freeing me, freeing my mind, freeing me from fear. And there's also a side where it's been helping me feel normal and understand myself more. The more that you read, the more things you'll know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. That was Dr. Seuss. Even he reads. I mean, I guess it was obvious that he reads since he writes, but I feel like he's basically saying that he time travels. Reading has always been an adventure of its own. It's just like you're just going. Before the information age came, before we got blown up with all this information and information overload and things like that, you know, as a kid and as a young adult, you have a lot of questions, and a lot of times you ask these questions to the people around you, and not everybody has an answer. Your kid just asks, why is the sky blue? How did God make itself? Things like that, and not everybody has the answer. So one thing that I realized as I was going in the library with my mom at frequent times, I'm like, these book titles kind of actually have questions. For example, a book would be like how to build a toy rocket ship, which is like a question you would type into Google, for example. So I'm like, wait a second, are they telling people how to do things? I was like, wait a second. It's all here. It's all here in the library. It's all here. It all makes sense now. The cool thing about books is that with fiction, you're literally exposing your mind to new opinions, cultures, traditions, influences, things like that, and you're basically opening up these neural pathways. You're seeing a more colorful part of life, and you're pretty much being able to discover things that maybe your mind could not have even imagined, opening yourself up to places that you couldn't even have thought of. I remember when I went on my first road trip, I could not believe the things that I seen just in the United States. It was like literally like I would have thought I was on a different planet each city. That's how crazy it was. And it helped my brain. Like I felt like I was becoming more creative, a little bit more smarter, just a little bit. But yeah, so, you know, just like seeing new things, reading new things opens up your neural pathways, which helps with focus and memory and creativity and happiness, anti-depression, anti-anxiety. So fiction really helps you to see the inside of yourself, just to be more exploratory. Nonfiction, which I didn't get into until my late teens, is like self-development, spirituality, factual things, science, history, You're taking people's years of experience, years of knowledge, education, experimentation, and they're bundling it up into 200 to 500-ish pages. Sometimes they're even 600, but for the most part 200 to 500, and you're able to just see the most needed information on that topic and learn it right then and there. I mean, that's incredible. And I'm not sure who I got this from. I think it might have been Patrick Bet-David, it might have been Napoleon Hill, it might have been a bunch of people actually. But I heard from someone when I was around 15 or 16, they said, be careful who you take advice from. And how I took that was like, this makes sense. This makes sense because imagine I want to create an amazing family. What are all the things it takes to create an amazing family? Imagine I go to someone who doesn't even have a family and I just go up to them and say, hey, how can someone like me create a good family? Turns out that person doesn't even have kids. Or maybe they don't even know families. Maybe they just been like on an island doing nothing. When you want to learn something, be selective on who you're learning from and make sure that they're good at it. You can read the reviews, you can watch review videos. Every time I read a book and I get excited, I just go on YouTube and I'm like 12 rules to life review, and then I watch videos of people just getting me amped up, getting me excited, talking about how much they love the book and which parts they love. I'm like, oh my gosh. I read the table of contents, things like that. So be selective on what you're learning, who you're learning from. He that loves to read has everything within reach. And I say reading has saved my life because I was very alone, I was very scared, and eventually that led to just being very angry. Not being able to talk, not being able to express myself, not being comfortable with just walking or anything like that. I didn't really have any friends, I didn't speak to anyone in my family, and it was very hard for me to communicate or express any emotions and just talk to people or even be in a group of people. I do remember trying to get out of that shell a lot. Like, I would join clubs, and then the clubs will have events. Eventually, I do remember sometimes I just didn't show up because of being scared, or even to the point where I would skip class because that day it was just really bad anxiety, and I just was scared to be seen, scared to be heard, scared to be talked to or approached or looked at, not even go to class or even go to school. I would just hide somewhere. I eventually became a very closed off person. I didn't go out to parties or events, malls, nothing really like that. It really just depends on what you read and why you're doing it. All I really wanted to do was just to build the future, and part of that was because I really wanted to have a bigger purpose in life. It was really in the ego, like, when I die, I need to do something that changes the world. I need to change how everything happens in the world. I don't care what it is, the environment, the government, I don't care what it is. I need to do something, I need to find something. I really want to make an impact, and I'll die if I don't. Reading has helped me realize it's so easy, especially with biographies. Anyone can do it. And it also taught me how. And it also taught me that I shouldn't have that strong desire without an actual problem to solve. Where is that desire coming from? Maybe that's the ego. And a part of that was coming from a wanting to be loved, a wanting to be appreciated, a wanting to be needed, and wanting to be seen and heard, a wanting to be acknowledged, because I wasn't being acknowledged because I was always hiding. The thing about reading is now you have mentors, now you have role models. Maybe you didn't grow up in a place or in a family who there's good people to look up to. Maybe if you would have looked up to those people, you would develop their bad habits and end up in the same state or situation that they're in, and maybe you just didn't want to be in that place. And so reading allows you to get out of one area and enter a new. Me growing up, I didn't have a lot of positive influences in my life. When you're reading, you want to just save yourself. Can you learn about your health? Can you learn about your body? Learn about your mind? Learn about your emotions? Or maybe you just want to be more creative. Read a storybook. What kind of storybook do you want to read? Where do you want to go? Is it like some medieval stuff? Is it space? I don't know. I think that I got a tiny bit ahead in life. I don't know how to say that without being weird, but basically I think that I'm 20, I just turned 22. I think that I'm doing okay, and I have plans to do better. And a lot of my views have changed from like financial success to love and abundance, very much energetic, very much in line with my soul. I think that's the part that I'm the most excited for. Think about what you want to know. Think about the information that's hard to come. Think about where you are. Who do you want to be? Maybe you don't want to be anything. You want to learn, how do I want to be content with who I am? There's a book for that. Maybe you do want to be something else. I'm quite angry. How do I become happy? There's a book for that. There's even videos for that, but I just love reading. Reading has helped me to understand who I am a little bit, and where I can go, and what's possible in the world, and what life is, and what life is becoming, and where we're going, and who we are a little bit. I say a little bit because there's always just so much more to learn, and to know and to find out. 2 tips. You're gonna want to prioritize what you learn and what you read. Meaning, a lot of times we can go into a bookstore, we'll see 10 million good books, buy a bunch of them, they'll be on our bookshelf waiting for us to read them 10 years later. Do not do that. Trust me, I've been there, done that. Don't do it. Buy one book at a time. And the best bet is to buy the book you need the most. Prioritizing meaning, for example, let's say you wanted to buy a book on YouTube, how to start a YouTube channel. So there's different phases of it. Planning the video, recording the video, there's editing it, filming it, and maybe even promoting it. So let's say you're new to everything. You're gonna wanna start learning that first step, just planning the video. You don't wanna start looking at a bunch of videos here and there, one day this, one day this, one day that. Too much information. Stick to one, learn it, apply it. You're gonna be able to retain the information more, master it, go to the next, go to the next. That's what I recently learned, thank God. Like, to make it even simpler, let's say your car just broke down, you want to learn how to fix the car, you're tired of it, you're ready to be the best car handy person ever, don't buy a big old book about how to fix cars, buy a book about how to fix that one piece. The second tip is, if it's hard for you to read anything, whether it's article, magazine, book, novel, whatever, I would say just tell yourself, look, 5 pages a day. Maybe you don't even want to do daily. Let's say you only want to do the weekends. Just 5 pages each day that you want to read. Start with 5 pages. Don't say 30 minutes. I tried that. Don't say 1 hour. Don't say 30 pages. Something super simple. I just have to read 5 pages. Most likely you're going to start reading 7, 8, 9, 10. And as it goes on, it'll be easier to start that. And then eventually it'll become a habit. Here are a few books you want to check out. The Master Yourself, Mastering Yourself. Think and Grow Rich. It's about believing in yourself, taking out any limiting beliefs, basically assuming that you have what you want and learning how to get it. It's mainly about financial and success. Beyond Fear, really good book. Toltec Wisdom, one of my favorite books ever. I mean, it goes deep. I mean, if it calls to you with just that name, then read it, but I'm just letting you know it's a great book, and for very mystical reasons, but it goes deep. It goes deep. And then the last one I'm going to say is Be Here Now. And so Be Here Now was actually really transformative for me. The middle is drawings and arts with words. So it's like infographics. I don't know how you would call them. That's the best part. I honestly didn't read the beginning and the end. I just stuck with the pictures. But it's basically like, it's like that part is like a big chunk of wisdom pictures, and that actually helped me a lot. Read the whole thing if you want. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with all of your friends, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.